Perfect. So it's already 1 p.m. here and post survey with you in the chat section. So Ronald, if you want, whenever you're ready, we will follow you.
Yeah. Good afternoon, members. Here in Uganda is 14 hours. Where you are, I'm not sure the time, but it's already 14 hours. So we are the good afternoon, approach a good evening. I welcome you all of you from the Easter holiday. Hope it must have been a good time for you. 4 days holiday here in Uganda. It works for some of us. Okay. Today we are going to look at our last topic on this first session. Our last topic in this last session. Most cases I don't want to, I move the video because sometimes people have interactions with my video. So for clarity, I will switch it off, but if it's okay, I can leave it on if you are hearing me very well. Am I audible enough?
Everything's perfect.
Okay. So today we are going to look at the most critical part. We are going to have our activity a bit ahead there because the numbers of people I was seeing were around 44. Yes, that is good now. Many people have been missing out on our activities. So we are going to look at one of the last critical area in digital project management, which is planning. And I'm sure all of you have been able to read, and those have been following us in the previous sessions. We've talked about a number of areas, but this one is more critical, not important as such, but more critical than the other ones. So we are saying that the planning bit is the bridge between the vision that anyone has got for any project vis-a-vis the implementation time.
To interrupt you, I don't know why your voice is echoing. It is repeated word plus word.
Apart from you, is anyone having the same challenge? Because
For me, everything sounds nice. I'm not sure what Marina can hear.
Okay, I will check my PC then. Thank you.
Okay, let's hope maybe it's not an internet issue. These are the restricted projects that we are going to be looking at, how we shall be managing them, but the issue of planning. Dear colleague, planning is a very, very critical point in projects because it is one of those fundamental stages clearly or smoothly as we try to implement projects. So we need always to get a lot of time at the point of planning. I've been discussing with a number of people here online privately in the middle of the week, and they have been having challenges during the planning, challenges in the communication, but I think somehow some are doing our discussions. A number of things have been solved. So I'm happy that we are all here again in big numbers. We are going to discuss the issue of planning. Planning in youth projects is more critical than as the project goes into the higher levels. It becomes, as the project grows, it becomes more complex, more hard to understand, or with more variables coming up. So the planning goes on changing. Many people say that sometimes during implementation, the plan has already changed. No, the plan doesn't change. The plan only improves. Okay? So in planning, we shall be looking at what affects those planning issues, technology that we are looking at as the youth, more engaged in using technology, tools, and the principles, the issue of data protection, how do we save our information, how do we protect our data from the hackers, from the online cyber crimes. The issue of collaboration, it has been a pertinent issue during the previous discussion. Many people don't want to communicate. Even when we switch you into groups, some people decide to keep quiet. They don't want to share with others. You can imagine, we are saying we only have 10 minutes. and we need to discuss on a particular point. Some people decide to keep quiet. So that issue of collaboration is one area that, how do we manage collaboration? How do we communicate with the people? Then the issue of hybrid participation, where we are looking at a number of people, both offline and online, of different categories, the millennials and the Gen Zs coming together. So in this plan, in this context, in this presentation today, we are going to say that good planning does not mean remove flexibility, but good planning, it also creates creativity and participation in a way that people can feel involved. And in that case, it leads to reducing of complexity of issues. In that case, we shall be building confidence. We shall also ensuring that accountability is at the point, and then we shall enable adoption where everyone will be able to be part of the project, and so that it becomes a successful project. So in this case, that takes us to the formulation of objectives. When we are planning, we should have the goals right. We should have the objectives right. But how do we make the objectives? We always use this framework, which is called SMART. SMART means specific. You have the objectives to be clearly defined and should be specific to the point. We should see that the objectives that we are putting across are measurable. We can quantify the objectives. What are we going to achieve at the end of the day? How should we achieve it? Okay, it should be achievable, ensuring that it is real. We should have objectives that are really achievable. Otherwise, if you have ambiguous objectives, some people call them AI objectives that are not customized to your location, to your project, sometimes you may not be able to achieve, to go higher. So we should also look at these objects should be relevant. All these are just principles of SMART. They should be aligned and identifiable with the needs, and then you prioritize them. What should come first, what should come next, and what should come last? We shall see in the project management tools. What should we start with, and what should come next in terms of the number of resources? Because in all projects we deal with, resources is a big factor. We don't have always enough resources, but we need to do business. We need to do work. How do we go about it? Should we wait for resources to be enough, which sometimes is not very easy? We always need to work within the limited resources, but we need to plan better and be able to achieve our objectives. So at the end of it all, it goes with what we call time bound. Just like today, I'm saying my time is going to be end by the end of today. So my project is ending today as a project manager in this phase. Are we together? For this scope of the first part 1 unit, we are ending it today. So our time scope is saying, yes, we should be by 16 hours, 15 hours Ugandan time done. So we have to define clearly the time frame. How are we going to work? How are we going to achieve our objectives, and what is going to happen? So in this case, it is very, very critical for us to give a lot of time during planning time. Okay, so with SMART as a framework, we are able to prevent over ambitiousness in this project. Ambiguity, where people are so excited, we should have a project that goes ABCD, flies even to the moon. We should have the scope right. We should have the guiding tools well selected. Which tool are we going to use? How do we use it? When do we apply it? You've seen many times in the previous presentations. We've tried to use very many types of tools where other people say, oh, this one is not as good as the other. Why don't we switch the other tool? Because if you are communicating, for example, you are using email communication, people say they want to use WhatsApp, other people want to use another tool. So you need to determine which type of tool should be used depending on the project and the type of people you are working with. Those are the stakeholders we're talking about. So with SMART, we are able to make evaluations possible and also protect the project scope. The moment we don't have the project scope right, that means we are going to go beyond the borders, and that will cause what we call scope creeping, which is a very, very, very bad thing in a way that it affects our budget, it affects our time, and it also leads to the downfall or the failure of any project. Okay, so In this case, with proper planning, we shall start by the end of a certain period of time, we shall have 80% of our participants be able to do ABCD. We shall have, so we are having those measurable objectives, okay? We shall be able, but in the case we fail to plan well, that means we are already looking at the downfall of our project. So members, with that brief introduction, I just want to get from you, using this scenario, that we are going to break in 2 rooms, where we are going to look at projects, a case study of mobile money application. I want people to pick one of these examples. Maybe you go for universal ERP, you look maybe at a learning platform, any e-commerce systems. But in your groups, what I want from you, 1, I want you to define for me your project scope. Get an example. These are some of examples. You can choose any example of your choice, but these are my just examples. So you look at, define the project scope, you identify the stakeholders in that project, and then you outline the deliverables. So because our discussion here is going to play around with this as we are planning. And I want to see how you people, you can, in the 10 minutes, this is going to be in 10 minutes. I'll request Emma to take us into the rooms. But in that case also, I want to see that within your groups, assign yourselves roles. 1, I want to say project manager. Those are going to act as clients because we are many. I want to see those technical people, the developers, and the sponsor, who is the project owner, so that you can see who plays what role at what point of time. It's going to be a short period of time, but should be very interesting because we've gone through a number of these ones in the previous areas. Please, can we switch to the rooms? And in the case you have any challenge, please, can I hear from you? If you have, maybe you've not heard me very well, so that we are going into the rooms to see this activity happening in our projects, so that we can plan and go ahead very, very fast. Okay, let me welcome back all of you. I think you are back in the main room. It must have been a very good discussion. So we want to hear the project manager who is visiting every room. Can we have the discussion here as a project manager? How are we sorting out these issues? What is your project you've taken over? What is the project scope? Who are the stakeholders in your project? And then the deliverables, so that we can see how you've planned better for these 30 minutes, for these 10 minutes. Room one.
Hello, I'm representing room one. So we chose to build an e-learning platform that its goal is to promote media and information literacy. And of course that it is built on skills development and competencies development. Our key features are, of course, user registration, an integrated chat through which participants will be able to communicate with one another and exchange ideas. Of course, a progress tracking tool and a user dashboard. When it comes to the main stakeholders, we have identified, of course, the educators, the youth workers, the participants, schools, and universities. Our main deliverables will be two. One, it will be a digital toolkit, which will help our participants to walk through the media and information literacy journey. And second, a media and information literacy plan, which will be used in classrooms. So it will be like a e-platform for educators that we will teach them about media and information literacy and how they can integrate that skill inside their classrooms during their teaching hours.
What's the major goal?
And goal is to create that promotes media and information literacy, and it builds the necessary skills and competencies for educators and teachers mostly, that they're ready to use this knowledge inside their classrooms and pass them to their students.
Wow, that is very nice, but it's too big, I think. What is the scope now?
When you say now?
Your scope as a developer, as a project manager, what is the scope that you intend to manage? Because as the goal, I can look at it is a little bit wide. What is your scope? Where is
Our scope is to create the platform
starting and
with those key features. I think the scope includes the goal, the key features, and the exclusions, right? Can you hear me? I think
Yes.
we lost the connection with Ronaldo.
Yeah, I missed you a bit. Please rewind. What's the scope?
Yes. So I think that the scope includes the goals which we defined, and the key features which we discussed, and of course I will be happy to repeat.
Okay.
So you
No,
would like me?
because of time, let us end on that one. Let us go to room two.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a very good, a good one. Room two. Anyone in room two ready or room three?
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi. Sorry.
Yes,
Hi.
Mariana, we
Sorry.
hear you.
Sorry, Irem. Which room I was in.
Okay, let us take you the way you've come.
Okay, can I start then?
Okay.
Okay, so sorry. So pretty much we thought about an e-learning platform. The goal was to learn English and pretty much build competencies for non-proficient English users, meaning to build skills and English classes, you know. The key features, we put administrative ads for students. We didn't thought about more, but it should include more. We just didn't brainstorm as much in the key features. The key stakeholders would be the universities, the schools, the students, and also adults, meaning if you're a non-proficient English user, this would be appropriate. The main deliverables would be online classes, exams, tests, coursework, combining asynchronous, synchronous learning, blended learning. And we didn't understand the part of the roles, what we needed to do in that part, so we stayed until here. The scope, I also don't know how to specify it clearly, but I think it would be to build these competences is within the scope of this project. But if I'm mistaken, please, the rest of my group can correct me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next group, next room number, that was number 3.
Yeah,
So I
it,
expect,
it was no, we are number 3.
yes, for you are number 3. I'm looking at number 4 or number 2.
We didn't explain, I think, our platform as a number 3.
Yeah, Mariana, we were in number 5.
Mariana was not
Okay.
with us.
So sorry. I
Yes.
really didn't see the number. Sorry about the other groups.
Okay. Any other room members in the either room 4, 5?
I am Iram from number 3, room number 3.
Okay, please continue.
I'm sorry that we think a very similar project because we are designing e-learning platform. Our goal is to help people learn new language in an easy and flexible way at their own place and own pace. So in this project, the platform will include lesson videos, vocabulary exercises, quizzes, simple speaking activities, and system to track progress. In the first phase, we will not include live teachers or advanced feature like AI. We want to keep it simple at the first phase, but maybe in the future we can add it. And for this project, main stakeholders will be the users who want to learn new language, the organization that owns the project manager, and the developers and designers. And our another key stakeholders will be the content creators, because we will not have online teachers at that moment, so we will only have videos or content. So content creating is very important for our project. And what can I say more? For maybe outcomes, I can say that we want a working e-learning platform as the first outcome, and then we want to have information for other stakeholders if they want to join us, or for inform them. And we want to have a vocabulary exercise system, quiz and test system, basic speaking practice features, and progress tracking dashboard maybe for each participant or student. And I think that's all about our platform. I think he lost the connection, right?
I think yes.
Probably I cannot see him.
Yeah, most likely. Let's wait maybe a minute.
Yes,
Oh.
I got you. I got you in another machine, but we can continue.
Okay, I finished about outcome and all the structures about the project. If you have any question. Okay, thank you.
We see how we end it.
I cannot hear you. I don't know if my internet or yours, but if he's speaking, I'm not able to.
No, Irem, you're right. I think we are losing Ronald a little bit from his side.
Okay.
Group 4 or 5?
Ronald, can you hear us?
Yes, I hear you.
Perfect.
Group 4 or 5?
Hello, we're on four. We choose to develop a mobile app. The goal is to provide a simple and secure way to manage money digitally. So the main features include
Okay.
sending money or receiving money, paying bills, etc. And the key stakeholders are mainly users, developers, and the bank itself. Finally, the main deliverable is a fully functional mobile application.
Okay. Mobile application. Okay. The last one?
Okay, I think last one is group 2, right? We haven't spoken, though we've written something in the comment section. Yeah, so for group 2, we also looked at creating e-learning platform. Okay, an interactive learning platform for higher institution students for them to be able to learn about sustainability. And our main goal for this project is to help participants or the students. We want them to feel comfortable and to help them to understand sustainable lifestyle and be able to make sustainable choices in different circumstances of their daily life, as well as be able to share and gain knowledge with their peers. So, major stakeholders were higher institution personnel, educators, digital learning developers. So they were our major stakeholders, and we also had to look at some of the learning theories, which will be applicable in developing this platform. And one of some of the features, the key features we also looked at was user-friendly mobile devices or access, as well as inclusive. That is, people can use their mobile phone to access, whilst others can also use laptop to be able to access the platform, which will help them to be able to learn more about sustainability. So whoever, students in higher institutions who wish or want to learn about and go. So this was what we were able to discuss in our group. Thank you. That for group.
Isaac, that was very nice of you. It brought in more ingredients in our package today. So, members, we really welcome you from your beautiful discussions. What we are looking at here is that you had serious planning within a very, I can really, and I want also to say that I've seen members engaging together in a very short time. I don't know whether whoever is presenting, has he been the project manager? Isaac, have you been the project manager?
Yes, please. Yeah.
So that was your role.
Yes.
So in this sort of planning, in many cases, just like other people have presented, Lema should have been the project managers. You've played the role very well. And the areas that we need to concentrate on to understand is that in projects, we are looking at, let me share my presentation again. If I look at the issue of the project scope, this is very, very critical. We needed to know how big the project is going to take us. The e-learning platforms. Let us agree that all e-learning platforms are too big. We may not be able to have them every module at once. So when you're developing projects, we need to have a project scope because the project scope determines achieve in the short run. One of the things we need to achieve in the short run should be coming from the project owners, who are the stakeholders. So that requires to understanding that we need to understand who are the stakeholders, and these stakeholders, what are their major roles, who has got the power and the impact. So that takes us to this slide of understanding the water, where we go into the understanding of the project goal. Then we break the project into smaller divisible units, okay? Are you able to see my slides moving?
No.
No? Okay, let me stop and share again.
I was able to see the slides.
Is it there now?
Not yet.
Well, it's showing it should be there. Is it there? Yeah? Okay, let me share again. It should be coming up now.
Yes, now we
Yeah,
can.
yeah.
Okay, so we are saying when we are in the planning stage, we look at the objectives, we look at the stakeholders, we look at who are the people, because when we talk about stakeholders, we are looking at those people who are impacted by the project or those who impact the. So in that case, what we need to do to become very, very efficient, we want to do what we call work breakdown structure. We break down the whole project. If we need to look at the online platform for the e-learning, you want to do, first of all, the needs assessment. What is required for this e-learning? Do you have the curriculum designers? Do you have the content? Do you have, you do a pilot testing? How are other people doing it? Do you have the platform? Is it going to be a model? Is it and then you evaluate? So in that case, we are going to say that when you break down the few components that are needed to be done by every person, then you will do what we call, go into what we call stakeholder management. We need to find out who are the stakeholders that we need to work within that project and the timelines. So before even go to the stakeholders, we need to look at the timeline planning, where we look at, we have to have tools that will help us to know where do we start from and when should we end the project. Like I said, what is your project scope? We did not hear any of you telling me how long you are going to take to accomplish that project. That area is very critical. We need to know when is the project starting and when is it going to end. Like I said, that today I'm ending my 3-4 weeks back. So at that point of time, we should be looking at the progress, how I progress. You go on ticking off. So we can use a tool called the Gantt chart, which can help you to do visualize the tasks across the milestones, who is responsible for what activity, where is the project starting and when is it ending. And with that part, it will help you to fix a number of issues before they become late. So it's what software that we can find Microsoft application or Microsoft Suite. And I really employ to go and look at it. Those who have not looked at it. But there's also others, like talk about the sprint planning, where you divide the project modules and you focus short-term goals. Okay, with the Gantt chart, we do reviews, planning, just estimates, we have to check about them together. Okay. So in that case, we are saying it also takes us the issue of the budgeting. Now, whenever you get down the scope determines how big is the project, and that big, the size of the project affects the budgeting. The budgeting is inclusive of the human resource, the raw materials, and the other entities that will be needed into the project. So like the e-learning platform, we talk about licensing, people are developing content, people are going to be trainers, the owner, the institution, as an institution, how is it going to host the system? So all those ones are aligning because of resource priority. So you prioritize what should come first, what should be coming next. In terms of procurement, you don't procure everything at once. You go on getting resources in bits, okay? So in that case, it allows you to allocate funds efficiently. You include what we call instructional costs. We will have to reserve some bit of contingency, the unexpected risk. I know many cases these days people don't want to have contingency money. They say it's not a good thing, it's not a good practice. But in the projects, if you don't plan well, if you don't become prudent, you're giving some allowance. In the case of dole, in terms of a number of factors, then we need to understand that in projects, we can look at platform subscriptions. Those are very key issues. Technical support, we need to budget for them. We need to look at cyber security issues. How do we manage if you're going to do digital projects? We need also to look at the content, design, and maintenance. Because when you have a project, don't just throw it there at the end of the day. We need to do maintenance. Those who will be studying the next session will be looking at how do we exit the project. Are you together? When you start it, you should have it running. You should have it go into the implementation stage. And at the end of the day, we do what we call the exit, where we have issues of maintenance and being able to hand it over. So there are a number of things that you should not forget about in the projects. We talk about risk mapping and mitigation. The moment you have a right scope, you are able to understand where do you anticipate to have risks. Risk mapping, we are saying, strengthens resilience and reduces panic during implementation. If you've planned well, if you know how big the project is, if you know the stakeholders, you know how to handle them well. If someone who is the funder, you cannot communicate to him as if you're communicating to a developer. There are ways we can handle these people. So in terms of risk mapping, we need to do a lot more than planning itself, okay? So we are saying it should not be pessimism. It should be all about professionalism. We should not always look for the bad area. We should look at how do we handle as professionals. This can happen like the way it has happened. It happened last week when there's change in time zone. Sometimes internet can go on and off. Do you have a backup? Like we have a challenge now. Are the participants engaging with one another? Is there retention? Or there's a lot of fatigue? People are too busy. People don't have break time. Other people are overloaded. But so they were able to make budgets, the compliance with all the rules and regulations of that institution, and be able to sustain what the budget is all about. Because we said in the beginning that a budget always is at the limited end. Okay? So just to ask you a quick question, what is the first step that one should look at in the project planning? What did you look at first? Anyone who can just talk and we continue. I want 2 or 3 people. Which step did you look at? Budgeting, scope definition, risk analysis. Auditor, are you there? Yes, what did you look at?
Scope definition.
Scope definition, okay. Any other person? Did you start with the budget, scope, definition, or risk? Any other person? Someone, auditor said scope definition. Why did you look at scope definition first?
Yeah, I think
Auditor.
that will help. The scope will help determine what will go into the project, and, and that will also help you to be able to budget well and to also analyze the risk as well. So I think that's the broader aspect you have to look at.
Wow, that is beautiful. The scope determines a lot of things. It determines the budget, it determines the time, and it determines all other ingredients. Now, just to continue on the issue of risks, we have a lot of risks. We have the technical risks, participation risks, we have financial risks. All these ones can only be managed very well if your scope is well defined. If the scope is well defined, you are very sure of which type of risk is going to come in. In terms of partnership, there are some projects that have got a number of partnerships working together. If they know that everyone has been allocated a role to play, and in what we call project management, we have those tools that help us to understand who is supposed to do what at a particular point of time. All these help us to go into what we call scope management, and all these risks will be managed. So I did not go through the details of the risks, but let us understand that data protection and cybersecurity is one of the key issues. If you are doing it, we are working on issues to do with digital projects. Don't over underestimate the issue. It is a big in projects. If you don't plan very well in terms of risk management, hackers will give you a bloody nose. Any point of, so it is important. Am I audible?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear
Hello,
you.
we are with you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are saying that you need to have a number of tools with you, like we've been using a number of tools here. There are templates that you can look at. I've given you a number of them here. Those that you can look at the work breakdown structure templates. You can have them on Microsoft tools, the Gantt the Gantt chart